From Anshei Sphard-Beth Emeth congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parshat Vayera, love and redemption. We often don't think of love and redemption as connected. I'd like to show how love and redemption are connected. If we look at our Parsha, we have a question. And that is, what exactly is Avraham seeking here? Hashem tells Avraham that he's going to destroy Sodom. So Avraham says, well, maybe there are 50 righteous people, 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. Are there any righteous people in this city? And eventually Lot and his family, part of his family, is saved because, after all, either they are righteous. After all, Lot did host the angels who came to visit, or because they're connected to Avraham. God remembered Abraham. No great shakes for Lot, but God remembered Abraham and saved Lot. So somehow Avraham saves Sodom. Now, think about it. Anshei Sodom ra'im v'chataim l'Hashem me'od. The people of Sodom are wicked and sinners very much. I mean, that's a pretty strong statement. Well, based on the rabbis, I mean, they had all kinds of illegal and immoral rules. They said, if you went over the bridge, then you paid $4. If you didn't go over the bridge, if you swam across the channel, then you pay $8. I mean, the rules made no sense. The laws of Sodom were truly wicked. You don't need the Midrash. Look right in the Torah itself. 2 guests came to pay a visit to Lot, and there was an attempted rape and attack against Lot and his family, and particularly against these guests. Look at Lot, the one who was saved. He offered his daughters to the wild masses standing outside his house, clamoring to get in. This is a city, this is a society that's totally and deeply corrupt. And Avraham is standing up for them? Avraham is trying to make some case for them? What exactly is going on? And then, before Avraham and God have this conversation, it says, well, look, how can I not tell Avraham what's going on? After all, he's going to be a great nation. And I know that he's going to teach his children after him, and they'll keep the way of God to do justice and righteousness. Tzedakah and mishpat. Tzedek is the right thing, and mishpat, judgment. Tzedakah and mishpat. So then, indeed, Avraham says, the judge of the world is not going to do justice. After all, you have to do righteousness. So what's going on? Why? What does God expect from Avraham? What is Avraham doing? And why is Avraham trying to defend the most wicked city that perhaps ever existed on the face of the earth? City of Sodom and Amor. I'd like to suggest what Avraham is engaged in is not justice as in, God, how can you not do justice? This is not just. After all, there are these righteous people. What Avraham is suggesting and what God expects Avraham to do is to be done at Kol Adam L'Chaf Zechut, to judge everyone favorably. To be looking that somehow within this evil city, there's really righteousness b'toch ha'ir. There is some righteousness within this city. There's something good about it. There's something life-affirming, positive. There's something connected to value, the spark of God, the spark of life and of love, that he could find some love for the people of Sodom. Now, don't forget, Avraham was very clear when he spoke to the king of Sodom, I don't want to take a shoelace from you. He wanted to have nothing to do with them. But could he find something redeeming in them? And that's what Hashem expects. He says, all right, let Avraham do this. It's really a reflection of God's ways. Avraham is, after all, walking in God's ways. God's way is Kel Rachum V'Chanun Erech Apayim Rav Chesed V'Emet. God is merciful and kind. He waits. He's patient with people. So he says, all right, Avraham, you do the job. I can do it myself. Let's hear what you have to say. He says, well, maybe there's some righteous people. Maybe. He's trying to be Dan L'Chaf Zechut. He's trying to judge them favorably. I know I'm sure, God, you already did the math. You don't find anyone righteous. But if we look Lifnim Mishur Hadin, if we look L'Chaf Zechut, if we try to look at things in the most positive light, trying to find the sparks of holiness and light, where maybe no one else would see them, could we still find something? The conversation ends in sort of a dud. He goes back home. There's nothing to discuss. There is no spark of light. If you needed any proof of it, the angels go there to check it out, to see what happens when you try to visit in Sodom. What's it like in Sodom? And in their survey, in their perusal of the city, they discovered that it's the epitome of licentiousness, violence, and crime. No morality at all. There's nothing really redeeming about it. Therefore, it had to be destroyed. We look at this as a microcosm of what Abraham is really about, what Judaism is really about. Abraham is a person of love. He's a person who tries to judge everyone favorably wherever he goes. And therefore, he can invite guests in his house even though he suspects them of idolatry. He says, well, why don't you just wash off the idolatry from your feet, according to Rashi, and then you'll be fine. We can still bring you into the realm of holiness. He had an eshel, achila, shtiya, lina. He offered everybody, idolaters, everybody, a little food, a little drink, a little place to sleep, because he thought maybe he could bring them in the realm of making blessings, in the realm of love and the realm of God. Ishmael, he knew his wife was right. He knew that Ishmael was not for his family, but he tried to judge everyone favorably. Yitzchak continued this quality, trying to find within Esav some quality of goodness and light. Avraham is the ultimate exemplar of love. And here, Rav Kook says something. Avraham Yitzchak Cohen Kook, the first Ashkenazic chief rabbi of Israel, before the state was founded, he's a man of love, a man who loved every single Jew, no matter how communist, how secular, how sacrilegious, how anti-religious they claim to be. He saw love and light in every single Jew. And he writes about it, he preached it, he lived it. And he says, who can restrain the light of the love, the higher love of God that stirs in the hearts of righteous remnant? Every Jew should be stirring with so much love for every single Jew. He says, it beats like a gentle wind filled with delightful fragrance. He says the whole Torah, the moral teachings, the commandments, all the Torah mitzvahs, it's all directed to one thing, to remove the roadblocks that this universal love should be able to spread. We should have such universal love for every creature, every star, every tree, every human being. We should be filled with love. The fruits generated from the roots of this supreme love comprise the good and upright qualities, the particular and the general, the personal, until we reach a state where the world is judged by righteousness and nations by equity. We say on Friday night. What does it mean, Yishpot tevel b'tzedek? That the nations, the whole world will be judged in righteousness. What does it mean that Hashem expects Abraham to judge the people of Sodom with righteousness? What does it mean when he says, Hashofei kol haaretz lo yaseh mishpat? Will you please do some righteousness? You know what it means? It means that Abraham, the exemplar of love, the one who personifies the very notion of love of humanity, he says, I'm so filled with love, I want to judge all the nations with love. Based on this, we can suggest a radical idea of redemption. You know what redemption could look like? Well, it says in Isaiah, it says in Isaiah that the Moshiach, this messianic figure, he will judge all the nations. He will rebuke them like Abraham and Yitzchak rebuked Avimelech and others for stealing the wells and all that. So we imagine a finger-wielding person scolding the nations of the world, changing their behavior from evil to good. And we say, how will it ever happen? How will we get from the state of affairs we're in today to one idyllic state, to the Messianic era? How are we ever going to get there? And Rav Kook suggests the following. This is how I read this passage. He suggests that when we find a person so filled with love, so overflowing with love, who could share that love with the whole world and explain to the world how many sparks of holiness are in France and Germany and every single place in the world, in the Arab countries and the Jewish countries and every place in the world, and how much light and how much love and how many sparks of holiness there are all around us everywhere. If someone could bring that out and find those sparks of holiness, they could save Sodom. They could save a world that's so confused, so mangled. They could bring the ultimate redemption through love. Not a love that loves hatred, that loves loves evil, God forbid, but a love that transforms through love, that transforms by judging, looking at the same facts, the same nations as muddled as they are, and says, you know what, we're going to bring out all the holiness in each one of you. We're going to show how much love there should be for each one of you, how many sparks of holiness you're all exemplifying. And when everyone sees their own sparks and sees how much love the righteous have for them, hopefully that will transform the whole world. Avraham is an exemplar of the ultimate Messiah, the ultimate human being, who through his love for everything around him tries to bring everything into the realm of holiness. Nefesh arasu b'Haran. Even in Haran, he was able to bring up all the sparks of holiness and bring many people closer to God. Maybe, according to the Rambam, thousands of people. Because this is our greatest hope, that people will judge the nations favorably. We'll judge those around us favorably. We'll judge all the various phenomena we find in life favorably. We'll be able to find the holiness in everything. And on that day, when we can change our glasses, take off the dark glasses we have and begin to see things with light and the bright colors, then on that day, God will be one, His name will be one. On that day, the Messiah will arrive. On that day, the world will be redeemed. The world will be redeemed with love of every human being, as we find the good within everything. In Sodom, Abraham could find no good. But if we could improve, get a little better than Sodom, there could be hope that we could find righteousness in everywhere. As it says in Tehillim, as we say Friday night, Yishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'amim b'meisharim. God will have to judge everyone, not to transform everyone, because people are inherently flawed, but to judge everyone favorably. When we get to that day, then the redemption will truly arrive. Thanks to everyone for joining us here at the Anshei Sphard-Beth congregation here in Memphis, Tennessee, for our discussion of this week's Parsha. Join us each week for our discussion of the holidays, Parsha, how-to videos, Judaism for Dummies, all kinds of series here on YouTube. And thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.